What's the coolest thing that I know how to play on guitar? 2 words. Walking bass. A 1, 2, 3, 4. What's up guys, my name's Adam and welcome back to Jamsville. So in this lesson I wanted to show you probably the coolest thing that I think you can do on a guitar, which is the walking bass and chords at the same time technique. One of the reasons that I really like playing like this is that it makes the guitar sound like 2 different instruments at the same time. So I want to show you guys something that you can play to start wrapping your head around this concept and hopefully modify what you learned in this lesson and adapt it to other songs and chord progressions and make your own walking bass lines. Alright guys, let's jump right into this lesson. So I'm going to show you how to do this walking bass technique in the context of a chord progression. The chord progression is going to be 2, 5, 1, 6. Let's take a look at it and then I'll explain further. So essentially the way that this works is we're playing a chord on beat 1 and then we fill in the other 3 beats on the measure with bass notes. These bass notes are mostly going to come from the scale of the chord progression. So this chord progression is in the key of G. Again, it's a 2, 5, 1, 6 chord progression, which can be repeated over and over as much as you want. So we're only going to be using 4 chord voicings. Let's take a look at them. So the first chord is going to be an A minor 7 chord. Then the next chord is going to be a D7 chord. The third chord is going to be a G major 6 chord. And then the last chord in the progression is going to be an E7 chord. This is the same voicing as our D7, but it's moved up 2 frets. So now that you know the chord voicings, all we have to do is add in the bass notes to the progression. So the first part is going to look like this. We're going to play the A minor 7 chord, then we're going to play 3 bass notes walking up to the D7 chord. So we have A, B, C, and C sharp, and then we land on the D7 chord. So the A, B, and C notes come from the main key that this chord progression is in, which is G major. But then we play the C sharp, which is not in the key, but it works because it comes right before the D note. So it helps the bass line pull us up to the D note and gives it a really cool jazzy chromatic type of sound. So after we've gotten to the D7 chord, then we're gonna walk back down to G. And there, all we're doing is walking down a G major scale. C, B, A, and G. So we're already halfway done. This is what we have so far. So now to get from the 1 chord to the 6 chord, we're going to take a slightly different approach. We're going to play the following bass line. So we're playing a G on beat 1, then an F sharp on beat 2, then another G on beat 3, and then a D sharp on beat 4 to lead us up to the E note, just like we did before when we were going from the A minor to the D7 chord. This part of the bass line gives us a more half-step chromatic type of movement. So we have G, F sharp, G, and then D sharp. And then once we get to our E7, we're going to play a bass line that's going to take us back to the beginning of the progression to the A minor 7 chord. So I have E on beat 1, B on beat 2, B flat on beat 3, G sharp on beat 4, and then back to A minor 7. So let's play the whole example one more time through slowly. So now that you know this basic way to walk a bass line over a 2-5-1-6 progression, you can experiment with changing some of the bass notes and changing the different ways that you approach the root of each chord on the downbeats. That way you'll be able to improvise your own bass lines on the spot. Now there's a lot of other ways to make this a little more complicated that I'll go over in another video, but I just want to get you guys started on it right now. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it. This walking bass technique sounds a lot harder than it really is. And it's a really great technique to have under your belt if you're playing duo with somebody else or if you're playing solo guitar. It's a great way to fill up the space, and like I said, it sounds like there's two instruments, so it almost sounds like there's a band. So I'd love to hear from you guys, what's the coolest thing that you know how to play? And also, what are some other cool techniques that you'd like to see me cover in a lesson? If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because there's more great content coming up every week. Until next time, listen, learn, and jam.